You mentioned some of the specialties that we have internally that allow us to protect these types of facilities. Can you speak a little bit about what is it about our fully managed XDR suite and our SOAR functionality and some of our other technologies that allow us to be uniquely able to help water treatment plants with their cybersecurity?
Yeah, so I'll talk about my personal experience, and unfortunately I can't give out like the details of some of our analysts, but we do have analysts that are subject matter experts on ICS and OT. Myself personally, I spent probably 7 years in a plant doing security and IT operations, and so I have training on a vast variety of industrial controls, real-time industrial control systems, X-ray gauges, PLCs, and all kinds of stuff. And so I was fortunate enough when I started my cyber career to already have a background in hands-on experience with industrial control systems. And so I was also contracted by NASA to defend both offense and defense against industrial control systems, right? So the way you really get good at something is to teach it, right? So, and teaching to those guys, these are launch control engineers, SOC engineers, and things like that, and listening to their challenges in defending these systems, positions us with that. And then again, we were lucky enough to hire a couple engineers and analysts that have a background in that industrial control system. So, who are actually subject matter experts for specific organizations on industrial control systems. So it does allow us to instrument networks properly and understand what to look for, right? So our system is a combination of both network data, right, which is really what you need to be able to defend an industrial control system. You really can't be injecting things in or trying to put agents on things and that sort of thing. But ours is a combination of looking and properly instrumenting, and there are ways. The government has procedures with the risk management framework with NIST and other things around the cybersecurity framework that was designed for industrial control systems of how to properly instrument those networks, and our system does that by default. Like if we put our system in, we're going to instrument that network properly and look for the right protocols, right, and look for how that thing is working. And then when you jump over to the business side of because there's always a business side to the ICS and OT operations, right? They have a business network. It's where what's called their historians sit. So there's some linkage between their control system environment and that business network. Properly putting in, monitoring agents to look for things there as well, right? So now we can monitor the traditional IT business part of what they do, and we can tie in the industrial control system piece. So now we have a holistic view of that operation, right? We're not separating them out. We're looking for things that could come in on the business network and how those things would traverse onto if possible, traverse onto that control system network, which should be protected. So, anything that happens in that environment we can see, and including mistakes, right? So that's usually how things happen, right? So you go into a place and they have really good controls between their control system network and their business networks, and then all of a sudden something changes and no one notices, and that's when an adversary will take a foothold to get in that control system network. So we can monitor those things, and we start to see odd protocols in the business network that don't belong there, odd traffic patterns between the business network and the control network, or control networks, those sorts of things. We can monitor for those things and respond to those anomalies to make sure that an adversary isn't getting a foothold in there to do more nefarious things.